You wake before sunrise. The air is already warm. The Nile is beginning to glow beneath the first light of day. Your work will start soon, and it may not end until darkness returns. Ancient Egypt was nothing like the movies told you. Most people were not pharaohs. They were not priests. They did not spend their days inside golden palaces or mysterious pyramids. They worked, and if you were dropped into ancient Egypt today, there is a good chance you would struggle to survive even a single day. When many people imagine ancient Egypt, they think about monuments. They think about treasure. They think about mummies. But the real story begins far from the pyramids. It begins in a village. Your house is small. The walls are made from mudbrick. The roof is flat. Furniture is limited. You sleep on a simple bed and share space with family members. Privacy is rare. Would this feel familiar or uncomfortable? For most Egyptians, daily life revolved around the Nile. The river was everything. It provided water, transportation, food, and fertile soil. Without it, Egyptian civilization could not have existed. Every year, the Nile flooded. When the waters retreated, they left behind rich black soil. Farmers planted crops in this fertile ground and hoped for a successful harvest. If the harvest failed, life became much harder. Your breakfast would probably surprise you. Ancient Egyptians ate large amounts of bread. They also drank beer regularly. This was not the strong beer many people imagine today. It was often safer than untreated water and provided important calories. Bread and beer formed the foundation of daily nutrition. You might also eat onions, garlic, dates, figs, or fish from the Nile. Meat existed, but most ordinary people could not afford it every day. Already your modern expectations are being challenged. There are no supermarkets, no refrigerators, no electricity. Every meal requires effort. Every resource matters. Archaeologist Barry Kemp, whose excavations at Amarna revealed extraordinary details about everyday Egyptian life, found evidence showing how closely ordinary families depended on agriculture and labor. Life was organized, but it was rarely easy. Then your work begins. If you are a farmer, the sun quickly becomes your enemy. Temperatures rise. The fields stretch before you. Tools are simple. Much of the labor depends on human effort. You bend, carry, dig, plant, and harvest for hours. How long do you think your body could keep up? Modern life has insulated many people from physical labor. Ancient Egypt did not offer that luxury. Studies of ancient skeletons reveal signs of worn joints, damaged backs, and physical stress. The evidence preserved in human remains tells a story of demanding work repeated day after day for years. Yet farming was only one possibility. You might be a craftsman producing pottery. You might be a builder moving stone. You might be a boatman navigating the Nile. You might even be a scribe. The scribes occupied a special position in Egyptian society. Most people could not read or write. Writing required years of training. Egyptian writing used hieroglyphs, a system combining symbols, sounds, and meanings. Learning thousands of signs was difficult. Because literacy was rare, scribes gained status and opportunities unavailable to most Egyptians. Some ancient texts even praised the profession by comparing it favorably to manual labor. The message was clear: better to write than carry stones beneath the sun. Religion touched every aspect of life. The gods were not distant figures. They were active forces influencing the world around you. The sun rose because divine order continued. The Nile flooded according to cosmic balance. Success, failure, illness, and fortune all existed within a religious framework. One of the most important ideas in Egyptian belief was Ma'at. Ma'at meant order, balance, truth, and harmony. Egyptians believed society depended on maintaining it. The pharaoh played a central role in preserving this balance. To modern eyes, this may sound abstract. To an Egyptian, it felt real. The stability of the kingdom and the stability of the universe were connected. This helps explain why religion appears everywhere in Egyptian history. Temple walls, tombs, statues, festivals, prayers. Everything reflected a larger worldview. Egyptologist Salima Ikram has frequently emphasized that understanding death is essential to understanding life in ancient Egypt. The Egyptians devoted enormous effort to preparing for the afterlife because they believed existence continued beyond death. This belief shaped daily behavior. You are not simply living for today. You are preparing for eternity. That sounds comforting until you realize how much responsibility came with it. Ancient Egyptians believed that after death, the heart could be judged. A successful judgment allowed entry into a blessed afterlife. Failure carried terrifying consequences. Would your actions pass the test? The famous process of mummification grew from these beliefs. Contrary to popular imagination, not everyone received elaborate mummification. The most complex procedures were expensive. Wealth played a major role in determining how a body was preserved. Even in death, social differences remained. Ancient Egypt also had laws, taxes, and obligations. The state demanded labor, resources, and participation in major projects. The pyramids themselves reveal something many people misunderstand. For years, popular culture portrayed pyramid builders as slaves. Evidence suggests a different story. Research conducted near the Giza Plateau uncovered worker settlements, bakeries, storage facilities, and organized support systems. Archaeologist Lehner helped reveal evidence that many pyramid workers were skilled laborers supported by the state. The reality was more complex than the myth. Ancient Egypt achieved extraordinary things through organization, planning, and labor on a massive scale. Yet even impressive achievements could not eliminate danger. Disease existed everywhere. Medical knowledge was surprisingly advanced for its time, but many illnesses remained beyond treatment. Infections could become deadly. Childbirth carried significant risks. Injuries could permanently alter a person's life. Your chances of reaching old age were far lower than they are today. This may be the greatest challenge modern people underestimate. Ancient Egypt was beautiful. It was also fragile. One failed harvest, one illness, one political crisis, one environmental disruption. Any of these could change a life forever. Yet despite these hardships, Egyptian civilization endured for thousands of years. Why? Because its people adapted. They built systems. They developed traditions. They learned how to live alongside one of the world's most important rivers. The results were remarkable. Temples rose from the landscape. Trade networks expanded. Art flourished. Knowledge accumulated across generations. The civilization became one of the most successful in human history. The Valley of the Kings provides a powerful example of this legacy. Centuries after the pyramids were built, rulers continued creating elaborate tombs designed to preserve memory and prepare for eternity. Discoveries there, including the tomb of Tutankhamun, remind us how deeply Egyptians cared about what came after death. But survival always came first. Before monuments could be built, crops had to grow. Before temples could function, workers had to labor. Before pharaohs could rule, ordinary people had to keep society running. That is the side of ancient Egypt many documentaries ignore. The civilization depended on millions of ordinary days lived by ordinary people. When modern visitors stand before the pyramids, they often focus on kings. Ancient Egypt was built by far more than kings. It was built by farmers waking before sunrise, by laborers enduring heat, by mothers raising children, by scribes recording information, by craftsmen shaping objects with skilled hands. Their stories rarely appear in giant stone monuments, yet without them the monuments would never have existed. Humans today still wrestle with many of the same concerns: food, work, family, health, meaning. The tools have changed. The technology has changed. The questions have not. That may be why ancient Egypt continues to fascinate people around the world. It feels distant, yet it also feels familiar. You began this day standing beside the Nile as another ordinary Egyptian preparing for work. Now you understand why surviving a single day in ancient Egypt would have required far more strength, endurance, and resilience than most people imagine.